Why did this massive theropod evolve exclusively in the isolated rock formations of ancient Cedar Mountain, Utah? How did dense plumage covering its arms and tail provide crucial aerodynamic balance during violent combat? What specific leg adaptations allowed this predator to utilize riverbank cover instead of chasing prey across open plains? Could its devastating sickle claw have served merely as an anchor, while massive jaws tore through tough hide? Why does the fossil record place this apex hunter firmly in the early Cretaceous rather than the famous Jurassic? What evolutionary pressures drove this dromaeosaurid to become the largest known member of its entire family lineage? How did a solitary hunter weighing around 1,500 pounds successfully subdue heavily armored herbivores roaming ancient floodplains? Don't miss what comes next in this story. Watch to the very end.
Welcome to the channel, I am Jonny Dony, and we explore prehistoric dinosaurs through grounded scientific research. Today, we examine the massive Utahraptor in my documentary titled Shadows Cast by Heavy Bone. Monetization has grown unpredictable lately, so this channel relies entirely on direct viewer backing to continue. Please consider becoming a sponsor on Patreon, because every contribution directly helps produce the next film, link below. I would be grateful if you liked this video and subscribed to support ongoing paleontological storytelling. Now, let us step into the ancient past together.
Shadows Cast by Heavy Bone. The past is never dead. It's not even past. William Faulkner. Cretaceous Floodplain. The Cedar Mountain Formation preserves an ancient, vast, early Cretaceous landscape. 139 million years ago, this deeply semi-arid floodplain hosted deep, shifting river channels. These waters flowed beneath a wide, intensely seasonal, and very warm, subtropical sky. Conifer woodlands and dense riverine fern savannas line the wetter ground. Cycads cluster along the deep channels. Named for its discovery near Moab, Utah's predator remains tied exclusively to this vast, specific, highly unique, and deeply arid ancient geological setting. This productive floodplain ecosystem supports immense, large browsing herbivores. A Piersauropodomorph herd moves slowly through the thick, cool morning mist. Their heavy footfalls shake the damp, soft earth as they strip leaves from the low, green, leafy tree branches. Above the dense canopy, a contemporary pterosaur casts a brief, dark shadow. The local climate demands extreme, daily resilience. Short wet seasons quickly give way to prolonged droughts that test every creature in this harsh, deeply arid, unforgiving, dry environment. Thick sedimentary layers stack up to record these constantly shifting seasonal patterns. Each distinct mudstone bed captures a specific moment in the geology of the early Cretaceous. This locks the ancient water levels and temperatures deep into the solid rock. The great subtropical engine grinds on relentlessly through deep time. Rain and drought cycle endlessly across the vast Utah basin. This drives the intense, deep evolutionary pressures that will eventually shape the apex predators of this deeply unforgiving, ancient world. This chapter confirms the Cedar Mountain floodplain recorded extreme seasonal droughts across deep time. We ask you to evaluate these climate patterns in the comments. Subscribe to support our research. Next week reveals how thick feathers stabilized a massive bipedal predator.
Bipedal Architecture. The massive theropod shifts its weight, a fully bipedal stance supporting a remarkably heavy frame. Reaching 6 full meters long, this species can weigh up to 700 kilograms. Every dense, reinforced joint in its lower limb absorbs the immense downward force. This robust body plan demands absolute physical stability over raw pursuit speed. A long, heavily muscled tail extends far backward, acting as a rigid counterbalance to the massive torso. When the predator pivots sharply, the long tail swings to maintain perfect equilibrium. Beside the muddy trackway, a large, grazing Tenontosaurus herd moves very slowly. They pass by entirely ignoring the giant predator. A tiny, fur-covered, multi-tuberculate mammal scurries right beneath a fallen cycad log, highlighting the sheer physical scale of the towering theropod above. Unlike later, much smaller relatives, this species was almost entirely covered in thick feathers. Long arm and tail feathers actively aid balance during rapid movement. A very distant pterosaur glides silently overhead, contrasting its leathery wings with the theropod's dense, thick plumage. Standing nearly 2 full meters tall at the hip, the thick feathered coat adds significant visual bulk. This imposing physical stature requires massive daily caloric intake. Such needs dictate a highly deliberate, energy-conserving stride across the open savanna to sustain its frame. The giant pauses, its long tail extending perfectly horizontal as it scans the distant tree line. Shifting its weight onto one powerful hind leg, the bipedal predator takes a single slow step forward. Its thick, feathered arms remain held tight against its sides. Could a massive theropod truly prioritize structural stability over raw pursuit speed? We examined how reinforced joints and dense plumage demanded a deliberate, energy-conserving stride across open terrain. Like and subscribe to help us track these anatomical adaptations. The next chapter reveals how this ambush tactic secured lethal kills against armored herbivores.
Lethal combat. Its leg physiology favors ambush over pursuit, so the 700-kilogram predator explodes from dense riverine ferns. The huge 24-centimeter sickle claw hooks deeply into the fleeing Tenontosaurus. This anchors the herbivore while powerful jaws deliver the fatal bite. A rival male bursts from Cedar Mountain undergrowth to contest the carcass in fierce combat. The two theropods lock jaws and shove with immense force. The dominant individual drives its 1.7-meter hip height to pin the challenger. A giant pterosaur stoops from the canopy, aiming for the exposed meat. The 6-meter-long predator rears up and snaps its jaws shut inches from the beak. The sheer threat of that bite forces the flying reptile to abort its attack. The hunter targets a stray Gastonia, but the armored herbivore swings its spiked tail. Heavy osteoderms strike the predator leg in a jarring blow. This breaks the ambush rhythm and forces the massive dromaeosaurid to retreat from the bone wall. A second rival approaches the feeding site, testing the victor's claim. They clash snout to snout, shoving 500 kilograms of muscular weight against each other. The exhausted challenger finally yields ground and limps away into the conifer woodland. The theropod faces a final threat from a large crocodilian lunging from yellow cat member shallows. It unleashes a heavy shoulder charge that smashes directly into the reptile's snout. The blow drives the scaled attacker back into the deep channel. While earlier chapters mapped the environment and anatomy, this sequence reveals lethal ambush tactics. we observe how territorial clashes dictated survival. Support our channel by liking and posting your analysis below. Next, we track the matriarch as she secures territory and coordinates family care.
Territory care. The matriarch patrols her established territory along the Cedar Mountain riverbanks, leaving deep three-toed tracks in the mud. She pauses to scent the air, ensuring no rival theropod encroaches on this prime feeding ground. Her daily forage requires a vast caloric intake. Beyond the ferns, a group of contemporary ornithopods grazes peacefully on lush green cycad fronds. The raptor watches this abundant prey, carefully calculating the energy required for a sudden strike. She relies on dense riverine cover to mask her massive 700-kilogram frame. Once the sickle claw impales the struggling herbivore, the true killing mechanism engages. Belonging to Dromaeosaurinae, she relies heavily on her powerful jaws and large curved teeth to tear flesh. This jaw-based strategy secures the vital meal for her waiting family group. Back at the shallow ground nest, the remaining adults provide crucial parental care. They regurgitate softened meat to the hungry hatchlings, ensuring rapid juvenile growth. This cooperative brooding strategy maximizes offspring survival across the harsh, dry valley seasons of the Cedar Mountain. Guided by the matriarch, the young learn to forage near the water edge. A broad contemporary archosaur basks quietly on a distant sandbar, ignoring the growing predators. The family group moves together, securing small lizard prey to sustain their rapid developmental phase. By regulating herbivore populations, these giant dromaeosaurs maintain the delicate ecological balance of their domain. They shape the vegetation cycles and drive the evolutionary adaptations of their contemporaries. This structured cooperative organization ensures their continued ecological dominance across the shifting ancient landscape. Our examination of their cooperative hunting reveals an impending environmental crisis. This stable social structure cannot survive the rapid habitat loss we explore next. Support our documentary series by subscribing and leaving a like below. Chapter 5 details how shrinking rivers starve the final giants into extinction.
Apex decline. The drying riverbed cracks under the 700-kilogram theropod's heavy, shifting weight. It lived approximately 139 to 134 million years ago in the Berriasian to Valanginian stages of the Early Cretaceous, not the Jurassic. And now its apex domain is vanishing. Herds of Tenontosaurus migrate toward the shrinking water, leaving the starving predator far behind. No longer the dominant hunter, the massive Dromaeosaurid watches its primary food source slip beyond its exhausted reach. The dry floodplain is rapidly becoming a completely barren tract. A rival contemporary theropod challenges the weakened giant for the last remaining carcass. The apex predator unleashes a desperate shoulder charge, but its hollow bones fracture under the brutal impact. It retreats slowly, yielding the scavenged prize to the much healthier competitor. Isolated near the final drying pool, the last surviving individual collapses onto the baked mud. Its 24-centimeter sickle claw twitches weakly, unable to impale the armored Gastonia drinking safely just meters away. The great hunter is utterly defeated by starvation. This terminal failure marks the absolute end of a truly spectacular evolutionary experiment. Without sufficient caloric intake to sustain its massive frame, the very final breath escapes the giant's jaws. The once unchallenged sovereign of the Cedar Mountain Basin simply fades away. By 134 million years ago, this complete extinction permanently removes the giant from the fossil record. Yet their concentrated bone beds preserve the memory of their complex social lives. Their feathered lineage ultimately survives in the modern birds soaring above us today. Our journey through the Cedar Mountain ecosystem ends with this giant's final days. We hope these chapters clarify how drought permanently altered ancient predator dynamics. Like and subscribe so we can continue funding accurate paleontological research. Browse our video archive to examine other Cretaceous ecosystems on our channel.
Our journey through time's shadows cast by heavy bone times reaches its quiet finale. I am Jonny Dony, and together we traced how the massive Utahraptor ruled ancient floodplains through coordinated ambushes. Please support this work by subscribing and leaving a thoughtful comment today. Every new dinosaur documentary drops on Patreon a full week before the public release, link below. My sincere gratitude extends to sponsors and members whose steady backing funds rigorous paleontological research. In just few seconds, 2 videos with equally interesting documentaries about dinosaurs will appear on the screen. So, go on to watch the next fascinating story.